everybody, it's me, Tokkuri Yashi. We are back today for Abyss Battle. And as we can see, it is a Fire Abyss Battle for September. We had Fire 2 months ago in June. Then we had Wind and Light. And now we are back to Fire again. So does this mean we are going to see an era domination? Dafista dominating this Abyss Battle? And probably will. We're going to have a look at those teams and bosses in a little while. But first, let's have a look at the rewards again, as we always do. Same as always, they haven't changed this up yet. Still 25 billion points to get all of the astral shards and spheres, the masterpiece shards, and then a few DAs and these princess heart pieces up to 70 billion. So I'll be back when we are at the very hard Outpost quest. We'll take out the Outpost quest first, then we'll have a look at the bosses and the teams we have to take them on this month. We have made it to a very hard Outpost quest, so let's get our hunting tickets so we can take on the bosses. I have been using this team, absolutely dominating era of course, but if you wanted to go magic, perhaps, maybe there's a New Year's Hamare you could use. Centre the team around here, but there is a lot of physical options, a lot of good PvP. For physical, we've got Reno, we've got Kea, we've got Inori, maybe even you can use Ninon, some of the Misogi's there, Matsuri. A lot of these are good options that you could probably use to take out these Outpost quests without too much trouble. But we're going to go in here, we've got Aira. I'm going to use this multiple targets here. One I've been using quite a lot to train with, to show them. Is Muimi going to hang in there though? If Muimi doesn't hang in there, which he doesn't, well, there we go. We can back out with that, and we can probably take this out with, like I said, one of those other options. That's not a big problem. We can go out, we can put in somebody like Inori, Matsuri, any of these. Now we should probably be good to go with these Outpost quests. Is that Fubuki? Was Fubuki the reason why Muimi couldn't hang in there? And she took extra damage, but like I said, not a problem. We can send in one of the PvP more tanky characters, and we should still be able to take out these Outpost quests and get our hunting tickets. Aira's damage here should make quick work of this Outpost quest. Yui there trying to heal, doing everything she can to resist Dafista. But it is in vain. It is in vain, and there we go. We've beaten the very hard Outpost quest with absolute domination. So we can get all of our hunting tickets now, and then we can take on the bosses. So we're going to go in and we'll have a look at what the bosses are and what are the best teams we have got to take them on. We can now skip all of them, get our hunting tickets. We get our 12 for the day. So we'll be back then when we get to the very hard for all of the bosses. Let's have a look who we can fight this month. Let's take a look at the bosses then that we are fighting this month. The first one is this Venom Salamander, the pesky amphibian. So as always, we're going to have a look at Emeru's sheets here for some teams. We also have Worry Chefs. The link for that will be in the description. Both of them are more or less the same. And as we can see here, we are going fire physical for this Venom Salamander. Aira is there in that top team. 485 million damage. That's almost a 2-pan for the extreme mode. For very hard though, easily going to 1-pan it. All of the other usual suspects are there. We've got Neffy, we've got Ho-chan. Hopefully you can build one of these physical teams. If not, there is a magical team down at the bottom with 336 million, which will be plenty to take out this very hard boss in one go. But it does have, again, a lot of the most recent fire magical characters in there. So hopefully you can take on this boss with one of those teams. So let's jump in then with that top team there. This should be pretty interesting, actually, seeing as we have got the 3 top DPSs for fire physical single target here. We've got Cannon, we've got Aira, and we've got Christina. So at the end of this fight, we can see what the outcome is in terms of damage, how power creep has entered the game. Because there are a few other options in there. We have got a few other characters. Perhaps you maybe want to try Princess Iori, Akino Siren if you have them. The Shizuru, Valentine's Day Shizuru is also in there as well. But the core of this team, as we can see, Ho-chan, Nefi Neira, and then we've got Eira and probably Cannon tank. And if Cannon can't take it, then we're going to have to use another tank, maybe June or Summon Neia. But plenty of damage here to one-pan this very hard mode. And I think there is actually a timeline on Worry Chefs for this. You can maybe get close to, if you have got a big whale tree, 2-pan in the extreme mode. Although, not very necessary to get all the rewards. If you can just beat the 3 extreme modes, we should be getting all the good rewards for this mode. So there we go. That is Venom Salamander taking out the very hard in one with this team. So let's have a look at this report. Eira, as we expect, on top. Christina's damage in this team, well, maybe he was going to copium and say it didn't suit that well, but well, that is power creep. Princess Christina, 3rd highest damage on this team. Anyway, like I said, hopefully you can build a team for the Venom Salamander. So let's move on then to our second boss. Let's move on to the second boss then that we have this month, which is the Trent Castle. This is what I would look like if I guzzled the plant feed and went to the gym excessively. I absolutely got Poopy Po, that's the name Miku song, stuck in my head all day. Happy vegetarian, vegetable juice. Yes, so we take that and we turn into Trent Castle. Anyway, we are digressing. We want to have a look at the teams that we want to be taking on Trent Castle with. So here we go. These are the error route teams for Trent Castle, and we can see physical, fire, multiple target this time. Again, Eira is there. Of course she is, and Ho-chan and Nefi Neira as well. So that is the core of fire physical, it seems, on whichever type of damage you're doing here, multi-target, single target. Fubuki can potentially be replaced with Halloween Mimi, and it looks like Summon Neia is the best tank, but there are a few other options as well. It does say for that top team there, 465 million damage. If Eira falls to unset Fubuki and Nefi, so you could try that. I will pop up here Worry Chefs for that team. They're saying to unset Fubuki and Ho-chan. So there are a couple of options for that. But if you go have a look here, there is a timeline as well for that, which could potentially 2-pan the extreme mode if you so wanted to do so. So there we go. That is the teams here for the Trent Castle. A lot of them doing some pretty good damage there. And we can see actually Mawimi is relegated right down there to the bottom with some of the lower damaging teams. That's not looking too good for Mawimi-chan there. So let's jump into Trent Castle here. It did see that we had Summon Neia tanking a lot of them. If you don't have Summon Neia, or you need to borrow 2 characters and Summon Neia is one of them, I would go for borrowing Nefi, Ho-chan over Summon Neia, and then you could potentially use Matsuri there as your tank. Even 6-star Misogi, she was on one of them comps as well. Try them as the tank if you cannot use or borrow a Summon Neia. Now I did have a Summon Neia, there we go. So let's send this in and see how it does. Pretty sure we should be able to 1-pan this very hard mode here without any trouble. Now I do have a ticket, as we all did for the 7th anniversary. I will be getting Summon Neia for myself with that ticket. But we are waiting, we are being extra cautious. We'll wait until we've summoned on Shinatsu and then we will buy ourselves a Summon Neia with that ticket. So thankfully we can borrow one here, so we don't have to do that. But here we go with Trent Castle. This is, they have been drank a lot of plant food and bulked up, but is it enough to resist the Fister again? And let me see, Neia, Nefi Neira and Ho-chan as well. Very, very high priority here on this 5 of these. Hopefully you have got all of them and can take on this boss without too much problem. Look, see, look at that, 25 seconds to go, and we have completely dominated. we have fed it a load of weed killer, and it it withered away. So there we go. Damage report. Of course, Era on top there with maximum damage. So there we go. That is the Trent Castle. Let's move on then to the third boss. See how we can do with that. What teams we have for this Flower Guard. What was it called? Flower Cavalier. That's it. Anyway, let's move on to it now. Let's move on then to the third boss, Flower Cavalier. When I can finally remember her name, it's Poopy Po, Brainrot, Brave Hatsune Miku. That's why I forgot. Anyway, teams for Flower Cavalier. As we can see here, we are going over to Fire Magic. And the Xmas Lariel is getting a bit of a run as well. So we can run the top team here, 459 million damage again. It looks like they are not scaling up these bosses in Abyss Battle. We are getting stronger. We're doing a lot more damage there. Edo Kuka is the one tank it looks like you need to have for this. So because of that, there is a team down there with Anne and Grey in it, but it does say if you swap out Anne and Grey for the Louise Marie, you're probably going to do better anyway. So I don't know if Anne and Grey really have made a comeback for this. We do perhaps need to have, or be able to borrow though, a Summer Maho or the Halloween Kyoka, which I think might be a little bit of a problem for me. So there we go, 459 million with the top team. There's a lot of teams there that can one-pan the very hard mode and the extreme mode, 3-pan them, which is all we really need. So let's jump into Flower Cavalier then. And because I don't think we have a Summer Maho currently available to borrow, we're going to have to go with the next best option, which is Louise Marie. So if you can't borrow or use the Summer Maho for this top team here, then put in Louise Marie. Again, that maybe is a bit of a big ask, but it is an option if it is available to you. I think they all did say to unset our Edo Kuka here. I don't think it really matters too much, especially on the very hard mode. It did say 5-star, mine is 3-star, my Edo Kuka. She does have a unique equipment and her unique equipment 2 on her. Unique equipment 2 is at 5 stars though. So this should be enough to take out the Flower Cavalier. Nice to be able to use Xmas Lariel after we bought her with real money at the 7th anniversary. This is the first time I've actually really been able to use her in a battle. But we can see here we've got plenty of time left on this very hard mode, and the Flower Cavalier has been taken out. What a plants. A lot of plants here, this Abyss Battle. So there we go. That is the 3 bosses for September Abyss Battle, all taken out there. Of course, Lariel there doing most of the damage, and Worm being used, not Lind, it seems. Anyway, hopefully you can build some teams for this Abyss Battle. We have now unlocked the Extreme there. Again, take on Extreme with the strongest team you had for the very hard mode, and get all of them lovely rewards. So let me know how you did with Abyss Battle this month. I'm Tokkuri Yashi. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all again for another video. Bye 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 bye. Hey!